Yo, yo, good morning, good morning, good morning. Roll call, Dr. Bombay, Steve the Theorist. We early, but we up, and that's all that counts. So I'm saying what's good to the mod, what's good to the chat. Like I said, family, we early, and I think I'm gonna address a gentleman by the name of Chief Cali this morning. I think it's time. I think it's important. I think that it's time for me to address somebody. This is what we're gonna be called. This is gonna be it's gonna start off possibly as a check session because as men we gotta check each other and we gotta be historically accurate at the same time. Now Chief Cali is an abo that y'all have heard me shout out on this platform before. Y'all have heard me give him his respect. And in doing so, giving him his respect, you guys have seen me keep him out of my line of fire as it pertains to the Aboriginal movement. And if y'all aren't familiar, the Aboriginal movement is a movement in which Black people are saying that they are the Native Americans that were here before the colonizers showed up. Now, that's just one of the many dangerous doctrines that exist in digital culture. These doctrines are dangerous because, one, they allow echo chambers to coexist with the historical narrative, or they allow within digital culture these type of narratives allow misinformation to proliferate. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of misinformation, and it's dangerous because these type of doctrines go unchecked. And what I mean by is they go unchecked, it's not that people haven't challenged them. It's that there's just a lot of misinformation going on with that doctrine in itself. Now, y'all heard me say that we are American freedmen. The reason why that doctrine is dangerous is because it distorts the historical narrative. It distorts it. And when you start creating these echo chambers, what ends up happening is it allows, once again, this misinformation to go around unchecked. And when misinformation goes unchecked, that's where you get the echo chamber. So they exist side by side. That's always been the problem with it for me. And when you check it, and when you start asking them questions, the echo chamber only exists not to be educated. They don't exist to be educated and to push the truth. They exist because they're your wall. They're your cognitive wall. It's your barrier. It becomes your barrier. That's why echo chambers exist. They're no longer pushing information. The echo chamber will begin to act as a victim of misinformation or historical misinformation. That's how it begins to act. And that's a problem within itself. Those are problems. Because when you begin to ask the echo chamber questions about their doctrine, they literally will treat you as an enemy. You guys ever ask the Hebrews questions? Like when I see Tazariak, I've been seeing him go around on all these different platforms. Some of these platforms are, it's just a group of people up there talking, and Tazariak sitting there trying to make sense of this whole Hebrew doctrine. He's sitting there looking silly. Meanwhile, it's a bunch of Europeans throwing bread at him or over his head or throwing bread at each other while he's sitting there trying to have a conversation, rewriting the historical narrative. Excuse me, guys. I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but I'm just getting ready for work here. So Once again, those doctrines are dangerous because they go unchecked. Say, for instance, if Tazariot, you'll never see a Tazariot take his ass on a platform, a historical platform, and push the Hebrew narrative. Because at that point, he no longer has testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Testing 1 2 3. All right, so I'm good. Okay, cool. All right, so you're never going to see him go live. You're never going to see him go onto a historical platform. He'll never show up on a historical platform because that's an unbiased platform. And what's going to end up happening with that is they're going to begin to question him. And the first thing that's going to be brought up is the historical method, or they're going to start attacking black people are not Hebrews or Jews. Now, one of the things I noticed in all of these doctrines is that, how can I say it? And I'm choosing my words this morning. The things that make these, the reason why these things are quite occultic or cultish, excuse me, cultish. They're not occultic. They're not teaching anything. The reason why they're very cultish is because they're teaching that we have a secret identity and we are a very special people, right? So what they do is do away with one and get you to accept the other, which is probably their doctrine, right? You got the Moors, Hebrews, you got Christians, Muslims, you got all these people trying to tell us that black people are uniquely different from Africans, right? Black people in the United States are not necessarily Africans, you know, and that's what FBA, you know what I'm saying? They try to teach that shit. Everybody is trying to get away from the identity of being an African. See, this is why I put freedmen in there, because historically you could point right at the freedmen and you could say, this is who those people are or were. It's both past and present, present and past. So Chief Cali, and I hope y'all get my point, that these guys operate only within echo chambers, right? You'll only see Tazariot go on panels with Jews because he's trying to appease the niggas that follow him, that black people are the true Jews and the white Jews are not real Jews. This makes absolutely no sense. That doctrine never made any sense to begin with. I don't even know why I even entertained that shit 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? 8 years ago. I don't even know I was entertaining that shit, right? The one thing I have learned is you can't debate a Hebrew Israelite. They don't want to debate. They want to argue. But that's neither here nor there. It's really the same thing with an Abo. Why are you only having these conversations amongst your echo chamber? Well, you only pushing this because, like I said, the echo chamber only exists to help push the doctrine. And a lot of them people don't even, a lot of the people within your echo chamber, and this is a Chief Cali, don't have a historical method. They don't know history. They don't know who they are, right? and they don't want to accept what they are, let alone history. So, Pete, if you're going to be one of the five civilized tribes and you want to put together shows, Chief Cali, and you want to say that the Democrat is in fact the enemy within, okay, I can listen to that. I can fuck with that. But are you saying that you're a Republican? Because I've heard you stand on Republican. We're going to come up with a new word, Republicanism. That you pushing some Republican doctrine? Is that what you secretly pushing? Because, brother, once again, this goes to show how silly you are and how what's the word I want to use? I'm trying to use the correct words because a lot of this does sound inflammatory, but man, it is what it is. I mean, you're being historically ignorant at this point. The Republicans were the ones that made the Native American or the five civilized tribes sign that treaty in 1866. That was done by them. Now, if I went and pulled some pictures, because a picture tells 1,000 words. If I pull some pictures of the Native American in 1866 versus the Freedman of 1866, what would it show? Who would those American freedmen look like? And what would the Native American look like? Was everybody historically wrong? Because if you're saying that, oh no, it was reverse. The Native American was the freedmen, and we were the five civilized tribes before they got here. See, those are the game semantics y'all play. We were the civilized tribes before they got here. We were the Choctaw, Seminole, Chickasaw, Creek, etc. That was us. See, those are the type of games y'all play. Y'all never really answer the question. Y'all will keep a conversation very benign. So there was a reason why I used to give you shout outs, just as an individual and a YouTube personality and a brother. But when I keep seeing you push these historical narratives that are incorrect, I gotta check it. And don't try to run the genealogy or run to genetics to prove that you're an Indian. I'm sorry, bro. No. You look just like a brother from Guinea. You look just like one of them brothers. You look just like one of them brothers over there. You look just like a brother from Nigeria. There's just no way around it. You look just like a brother from West Africa. There's no way around it. See, I find it hilarious that black people look at a whole continent with all these riches and all these resources. I find it funny that black people look at a continent such as Africa with all these resources. I don't know how long it was I was cut off. Excuse me if I was cut off. I'll just repeat it. I find it funny that a black person or a brother or a sister could look at a continent such as Africa with all them riches, all those resources, all that land, uncharted territory, and say that they not from there, and they're looking at people that look just like them from there. See, it just don't start with you, man. It start with everybody that want to run around and say Egyptians ain't black, and they want to pull genetic reports, and they don't keep the same rationale as it pertains to the areas where we are from. It's just like that damn sub-Saharan African shit. I keep saying ain't no such thing as sub-Saharan Africa. That's a political term, right? Made to divide people, right? Made to divide Africa from Africa, right? But when you look at it politically, you can see people from Cad or Chad, and they'll sit right there that sits above that line, that sub-Saharan line, and they'll sit there and say, oh, they sub-Saharan Africans. So now the geopolitical position that they say Chad sits at is irrelevant. You see, that's why I said niggas is running around with these genetics and these historical narratives, and they pushing a lot of bullshit. I gotta call you on that, Chief Cali. A Republican is not your friend. The Republican Party has never been a friend to the Native American. It has never been a friend to the Native American. And Pete, I peep game on a lot of stuff that you be doing. Hey, look, that Kevin Wesley thing that y'all got going on, I don't know nothing about that. I stay out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of he said, she said, he saw, she saw. I don't deal with that. So, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you're saying happening, then so be it. I stay out of that. I only deal with the academic side. I would like to ask you, if I'm an American freedman and historically I can see that I'm an American freedman, then who are you? What would you be? Why do you need to distort the historical narrative in order to make yourself special? But you can look right at who you are today and see directly what you come from. You're not a Cherokee. You're not a Chickasaw. You're not Seminole. We inherited those titles through our enslavement, bro. You should go look up the five peace treaties, or excuse me, the treaty that all those five civilized tribes signed, all those five major tribes signed. You should literally do a historical show on that so you can check yourself and see, damn, he right. Who were those freedmen on those plantations? Were y'all enslaving Africans? So are you telling me that you stood on the side in which Africans were enslaved and people look like you beat on Africans? See, now I know you're going to try and twist that narrative, but I think you go around and you say that you are I think Chickasaw, don't quote me on that, or a Cherokee. You one of them. When we look at the Creek freedmen, man, y'all will just ignore the freedmen part, and y'all will just say, well, Indians were enslaved too. But the historical narrative showed that the Creek freedmen were African slaves who joined with the Creek. The Gullah Wars show that African slaves joined with the Native Americans. That's what it showed. So why do y'all always or consistently or constantly twist the historical narrative in order to push a new narrative? Both you Moors, you Hebrews, you Christians, all y'all niggas. And y'all just be retarding the historical narrative. Y'all just be retarding what's observable and what can be seen. You got Christians running around talking about indirect evidence is enough. Are you crazy? Indirect evidence is never enough as it pertains to the historical narrative. Yes, it's observable. But now you have to place the group of people that you're saying you belong to in that time frame. And indirect evidence is not enough. So y'all even twisting that shit up. It's like niggas, they do something very good. It's like niggas be doing good shit. It's like niggas like, yeah, they're reading. You can tell that they're reading. And now that they're reading, they'll take something like indirect evidence and then they'll start pointing at it and they'll start twisting it up. No different than y'all abos did with that Walter Plecker shit. Yeah, when y'all introduce that shit in a debate, it sounds good until you read the whole narrative. And then you stuck half the debate with a lot of ad hoc rescue shit, making up shit because you didn't read this thing correctly. You are not a Native American, and it's not fair to them that you are claiming their inheritance. They enslaved you. That's why you have Chickasaw or Creek or Seminole or Choctaw on your name. Because when they enslaved you, some freed African slaves stayed on their reservations. Some, not all. Because a lot of them during Reconstruction started kicking them off. In which the African went back into slavery, served his master on the plantation until the day that he died. Where were we going to go? Where was the freedman going to go? Especially in the territories of Oklahoma. So before I have conversations with people, I always stop them right there. What does the historical narrative say? Where are you getting your source from? Let's start there. And Pete, I still don't know how you ended up beefing with my little sis. I don't get it. That's crazy in itself. You and her was doing damage out there. And if anybody knows, my little sis is Neo.
You was doing damage out there. Y'all was out there feeding the poor. Y'all, I'm telling you, literally, they were out there feeding the poor. They were putting together food drives. Him and her. How do y'all start beefing over that, dog? You gotta start correcting yourself. Remember, no matter what your position is, if you're not mature enough to handle someone fact checking you or questioning you historically, then maybe you should be on YouTube. And that goes for anybody. Anybody who sits back and decides that they're going to push these crazy narratives, and then when their friends on YouTube start asking them questions, you can't get mad. It's not a good idea. It's not fair to your audience. But see, don't hide behind these echo chambers that exist. Q Butter did that shit. Yes, I still say Q Butter is a member of the For Us By Us scammertrons. I still say that. I feel like his sales pitch is ridiculous. Anytime you're running around telling people to drop your kid or unenroll your kid out of high school because it represents a prison, a school to prison pipeline, is totally absurd. So you're going to unenroll your child from a group of qualified teachers to join your school in which there are no qualified teachers to begin with. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? And these are just the historical narratives that are produced in digital culture. And we fall for this shit. And these people will begin, and I'm not comparing Chief Cali to him. I'm not doing that. But I'm just talking about the absurdity that these guys will stand on in order to push a doctrine. As long as it benefits their ego, they'll stand with it and on it. But when they're questioned about it, what happens is that their egos become shattered. Y'all didn't see me anytime I've addressed somebody, I've always said, you're wrong. Excuse me, I'm right. Let me just get on my shit. I'm right until you prove me wrong. How many of y'all ever seen that happen? Never. So I want to correct you on that. Not only is the Democrat not your friend, Chief Cali, the Republicans ain't your friend either. They are not your friends. You are not sitting up here telling me that Donald Trump is positive for America. He is not. Yes, he took out a dictator in Venezuela. That was easy. That shit is easy for America. He challenged them. He got him out of there. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not going to cheer a man for one thing he did. I'm not. And that does what he did to that Venezuelan president or dictator. Guess what? That's more of an indictment on what he'll do to you as a Native American. Can we start being a little bit more historically correct? That's what I'm asking. Those things aren't hard. These things aren't difficult. Because when you're running around, once again, pushing these narratives, you can't get upset, or you shouldn't get upset when people begin to question you on that. What up, Silent K? Misinformation is dangerous. Misinformation is deadly. If misinformation is used, right, in these echo chambers, and if you look at it, look at everything these anti-Africans be doing. Freedman be doing. NBA niggas and Abo niggas, they really, where's that movement going? The Hebrew movement, where's these movements going? All they sit back and do is talk about how pissed off they are about Africa. What you think? That overnight something gonna happen, nigga? That Africa just gonna wake up and say, yeah, we Hebrews, yeah, we Indians. You ain't no goddamn Indian and you ain't no Jew. Get that shit out your head. And, I just been peeping it out. Like, I was looking at Tazariak and I'm like, yo, where are you going with all of this? Chief Cali, where are you going with all this? Let me see the historical method. Let me see you be a man and apologize. And guess what? Not only apologize to what you did to my sis, but apologize what you doing with your own history. Yes, we what's it called, mixed with the Native American. That don't mean you a Native American. That's not what that means. That's like if an ant mix with a beetle and the ant grow wings, all of a sudden it's a petit ant. No, it's still a goddamn ant with wings. We just do anything we can. A petit ant. That's crazy in itself. A petit ant. A bee ant. A b ant. A bee antsy. We creating words today. We creating words this morning. The 1866 peace treaty, that thing is dangerous for them abos. I don't never see them being challenged on this shit. I used to think that the abos was this huge community. Really, y'all niggas is small. Ain't nobody falling for that shit. Vino, Smoke Signal, all you crazy motherfuckers. Ain't nobody falling for that shit. What is it that y'all really want? Y'all want to be called an Indian? You don't want to be called an African? You want to support the Republican Party? See, that's why I be staying out of them dumbass political conversations, especially with these niggas. I be all like, man, I can listen sometimes. They got an opinion. They won't even get up off the computer. Their conversation only go as far as a computer, and really, that's to hear themselves bloviate. They not really going nowhere with that shit. Them conscious community motherfuckers, they not really going nowhere with none of that shit. That same shit they've been talking about for the last 15 years. Let's be honest. That's why I just stay in religion. Beating that shit up. Lately, I've been doing more studying than I have debating. If you guys haven't noticed. Silent K will tell you, yeah, I've just been studying. Jesus existed. He's your savior and Messiah. How you read a book and pull this shit from it? It's because this is what the church pushed, and the church had the power. That's why you believe it. And the church in your local communities sat up there and told you as a child, you have to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior or you're going to hell. That's a lot of people burning, ain't it? Cooking, God having a 24-hour-a-day barbecue. It smelled like the butcher's market down there at the Eastern Market. Anybody knows what I'm talking about. But the butcher's market, the meat market, that smell. They is chopping your understanding all up. They fear monger you into believing that you're something you're not or you aren't. They fear mongered you. They fear mongered you into accepting it. When God himself never told you to accept it, or herself, or whatever it is, nothing has spoken to you saying that you have to accept this doctrine. Fuck Venezuela. What that got to do with the price of tea in China? I don't care nothing about them motherfuckers. Zero casualties. Clap it up. Zero casualties. What you looking for? A feather in your cap? It's supposed to always be zero casualties. You got enough casualties over here. With this military party we got over here killing black folk called the police. Fuck about no Venezuela? Fuck Venezuela. We got to stop as black people denying who we are and accepting other people's struggles. We got to start saying, hey, fuck you. I got my own thing going on I'm fighting for. We tired of y'all joining our fight and then making our fight all about yourselves. That's harsh, but we got to start doing that. We got to start, you know, I always tell people, we got to do like Muhammad Ali did against Ernie Terrell. He stood on business, didn't he? Go look at that fight and go look at the hype before that fight. That man said, you will not call me Cassius Clay. Ernie Terrell wanted to be some big time Christian. He said, Cassius, your mama named you Cassius, so I'm going to call you Cassius. He said, you call me by my name, Muhammad Ali. That is my name. And he whooped his ass and he stood on business in the center of that ring and beat the shit out of him. And made him quit. See, that's how we gotta be. No, y'all ever know? I don't do beef debates. I did one beef debate, and that was with that Judah Nazareth weirdo. You religious people, and you historical narrative switchers and anti-Africans, y'all be killing the historical method. Y'all be killing that shit. Y'all thinking y'all be on there talk. Y'all ever notice that they don't never come with no receipts? They don't never come with no facts. It's just all a bunch of bullshit. That's all they got for you, bro. That's all they pushing. Why, bro? Why are you pushing this Republican Party shit as an Aboriginal? Why? Why are you doing that? They're the ones that made you register. They're the ones that the Indian Removal Act. They're the ones that pushed all that shit. Historically, it makes absolutely no sense that you align yourself with them. You need to apologize for that shit, dog. Because that shit is insulting. That shit is an insult of my intelligence. I can't believe you be... I can't believe you say some of this. I can't believe y'all be saying some of this shit. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Democrats, the enemy within. Man, let's take it from Louis Farrakhan's. Damn that. That whole movement, that whole republic is a problem within itself. They've been the enemy since we got here. What's wrong with you? See, that's where your whole argument and your whole stance on that aboism or that abo shit, First American shit, whatever y'all want to call it, it fall apart. It crumbles under scrutiny. And the only thing y'all say to us is, can you speak the language? Nigga, you can't speak the language. You not running around pushing no Aboriginal language? That nigga, what's his name? Said Ohio, and all what's his name? Dane Calloway said that shit, and all y'all started saying that shit. That shit was ridiculous when y'all did that move. That was what we call nasty work. How are y'all niggas pushing the Republican shit? Yo, that's bananas. How did y'all look and say we, as an Indian, as a Native American? What else, see that? How did y'all look and say, yeah, we gonna talk about the Wissacar. We gonna talk about Democrats. Like y'all at this point, y'all just saying anything. Y'all saying anything to sound relevant though. And then you play victim whenever y'all get caught on this shit. And that's just not aimed at you, bro. That's aimed at all of y'all. All y'all niggas do that shit. And I think what it really be, y'all, is that these niggas will win the war of attrition, right? They never really answer the question that you raise directly. They'll always change the argument, and they'll just stay live insulting you all day long. They'll never go point for point. Okay, this is what Chris is asking for. This is what Chris is asking for. Let's deal with this. Okay, after we prove him wrong or prove the people who stand against us wrong, then we'll beat him up. Then we'll troll him. I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? I love a good jousting. I got a jovial nature to myself, like I'm doing right now. See, the one thing Chief Cali know is I don't do the YouTube beefs. I'm that shit played out. I don't do all that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if that's what you standing on, that's what you standing on. But I need to know why you pushing this. I just need to know why y'all pushing this. You got the Indian Removal Act of 1830. Then they convinced y'all to sign a peace treaty in 1866, which they quote unquote said was meant to civilize y'all. Who are those Africans that were being killed on the trail? Who are those Africans who were being abandoned on that trail of tears? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So with that being said, man, remember, man, Republicans are not your friends. Democrats are not your friends. nigga. None of them are your friends. Andrew Jackson. What was Andrew Jackson, y'all? Was he a Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican Party? That's what it was called, right? What was that? Democratic? I can't remember what he was called. Not your friend? What Denzel say? They're not your friends. Why are they your friends? Because they know your first name. And remember, y'all, that Indian removal, those Indian removal acts and all that shit, that was going on in the West and in the Midwest. That was going on all over. They was resettling y'all motherfuckers, man. As an indigenous person, if that's what you saying you are, guess what, bro? These governments are intrusive. You can't side with any of that shit. They're intrusive. They're the ones that tore y'all all up. Oh, I'm a side with one over the other. Dr. Bombay said they was the first ice. Exactly. I really don't know. I really don't know where else to go with it, man. Can we just stop that cap, though, Chief Cali, man? That's cap, bro. That's cap, nigga. You know it. And look, nigga. If you ever think you can stand in front of me in a debate on some shit like this, you will get cooked. You will get cooked. What up, Bobby Knight? Bobby, you be wilding on your show. Your ass will get cooked, my guy. You will get cooked in a debate on that shit. But that's cap, bro. Democrats aren't the only enemy. Enemy Republicans is too. And I've heard you stand on Trump's side. Trump don't give a damn about you, bro. You're not gonna get away from that. You can't get away from that one, dog. I'm sorry. You can't. What would I say? Indian, Aboriginal. He can't favor one side over the other. He don't. He can't. That's a problem in itself, right there. That's a problem in itself, right there. I bet you your ass is getting up this morning, you Hebrews and Abos alike. You need to be apologizing to my little sis, nigga. What's wrong with you, man? That's what you need to be doing. Y'all was out there feeding the poor. And when a black woman checks you over some shit, such as history, you shouldn't get mad because it's your job to lead black women. Black women, it's our job to lead them. So if she's asking you questions and they become tough, it's probably because she's looking at you as a leader. See, black men forget that shit. It be that small shit black men just forget.
Oh, that's why she on my head right now. Oops. You didn't think about that, did you? It's called getting older. Niggas always want to be on some low vibration shit. So with that being said, family, it's time for me to go. I'm on the clock. Clock that. That being said, y'all have a good morning, man. I just want to put this out there. Yo, Cali, that's cap, dog. That's cap, dude. That's cap. That is cap for real, man. Don't do that, man. That's cap, bro. Clock it. Nigga. Clock that shit. You ain't no damn Indian. You're a freedman. And if you was on that plantation, that's what you was called. Y'all have a good one, man. I'll be back December 11th. Chris Harris versus Hemi, the Biblical Barbarian. My position is the affirmative. Jesus is not a Messiah or Savior. Y'all have a good one. December 11th, it goes down. New Year's Day Massacre. Paradigm Shift TV. Peace.